What's up, guys? Welcome back to the GWOT Goon Show. I'm your host, Doc Jeremy. This video today is sponsored by my boy at Craig Fleming at Fleming's Cleaning. Go ahead and use code word GWOT13 and get 10% off your residential or commercial cleaning if you're in the San Antonio area. Okay. Please, if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can always be aware of our next episode. Please comment and like. Also, check out our socials down below, all at GWOT Goons on every major social media platform. Also, subscribe to our Spotify. So if you like to drive and listen to podcasts like I do, you can enjoy them. This video is my platoon sergeant that I deployed with, Jay Lawson. I'm excited to have him on. This was a great conversation, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Jay Lawson.
Doc, what's up, man?
How's it going, brother?
Good. You look good, man.
Oh, so do you, man. I'm telling you, you look spectacular.
Thanks.
Yeah. So this is my old platoon sergeant, everybody that I deployed with, Jay Lawson. He's a retired master sergeant from the United States Army. He's got a CIB, multiple combat tours, and just overall fucking good dude. And I'm happy to have him on the show.
Happy to be here.
If so when we get into it, I always have like this running thing on my show that all infantrymen had the same upbringing. So it's like, did you have a rough childhood, or can you tell me a little bit about it?
Dude, it wasn't rough at all.
No?
Honestly. Yeah, no. My dad was in the Navy. We grew up in Japan. My mom's Japanese and my dad's white. Um, Dude, we spent like 16, 17 years in Japan. Graduated high school over there and yeah. I was a bad kid though, man.
You were?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of when we deployed it together, I kind of was like, this guy's a risk taker. I like it. So I don't know if that's something that you did when you were growing up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up, I skated for, I don't know, years and, I tried surfing. I wasn't super good at it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you graduate high school in Japan?
Yeah, it was on a Navy base.
It
Yeah.
was on a Navy base. How long? So what year was this around when you graduated high school?
Oh, in the 1900s, dude. It was no, it was 97.
97? Okay. And when did you so your dad retired in the Navy? That's what you
Yes.
said? Well, what made you want to pick the Army? Like what came to your head? And then for everybody that doesn't know, he joined a little bit later. We'll get into that why he did it, but I just want to know why he joined the Army over the Navy.
Dude, you want to know the truth?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So, I actually went to go to the Air Force recruiter,
Hmm.
and my dad is like a super honest guy.
Yeah.
And, he's like, from here on out, if you're going to join the military, like you gotta be like straight as an arrow, blah, 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 no lying, because everything's like documented on paperwork. And I went into the Air Force recruiter and everything was fine. And the guy, he writes MJ on a piece of paper and circles it and taps it. And he's like, how many times? And I was like, what? And he's like, marijuana. And I was like, oh, and then I like remembered what my dad told me. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like 30,000. He like he closed his freaking file. And he's like, yeah, dude, go next door. And I was like, fuck, man.
Were you in the States already at this time or no?
Oh yeah. This was 2004.
Hmm. How was it being a Navy brat in Japan, dude? Like,
It was crazy, man. It was like all the stuff you see now about like drifting and all that stuff, the cars.
yeah.
Dude, they were just doing that shit on the streets. Like these dudes were like time street lights. They would
Hmm.
time them perfectly so they would never have to stop and they would just go around like blocks and just keep drifting. But
Right.
like just being out there seeing that kind of stuff, was kind of bad to say, but I felt like I had like diplomatic immunity. Like I was just a bad kid, man. And the cops didn't carry guns; they had like whistles and batons, and
So
yeah,
you're just a little rebellious? Was your dad like hard on you about it or no?
he was actually super nice. I
Uh,
had like a bunch of friends that got deported from Japan, like before, like the summer before senior year.
right.
Yeah,
That
for buying
for doing
hashish.
Oh, okay. So you what? So when your dad retired over there, you graduated and then you came to the states. What state did you go to?
Up to Washington State.
Washington State, and you didn't go to the recruiter right away. Did you try the college route, or you worked, or
I
what?
did. I did college for not that long.
No. How many years did
No,
you go to college?
not even a year.
Not it wasn't your
I was
forte.
just I now I feel like it would be, but dude, I
Uh
was
huh.
just so bad and just like you had like no
Were you
self
just
control.
unmotivated?
Yeah, I mean, I'm naturally lazy, like, and pretty introverted, man. Like, I could just sit home and just not do anything and just be
Yeah,
around my family and just be totally fine. But yeah, like I was like, oh man, I don't get in trouble for not showing up to class. Like,
yeah, it's
you know
pretty
what I
cool,
mean?
right? Yeah, because you
Yeah,
pay for it, so you're like, I can do whatever I want.
yeah, and horrible, dude.
Yeah, you are
Students.
very introverted, though. I was talking to McNeil, and I was like, he's a very mysterious man.
Yeah, man.
So go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
So when you tried college out, were you working or?
Yeah, so I was working at this little Italian restaurant. So it was 97, and then 98 I went back to Japan, and I stayed there for 89 days because anything after 90 days you needed a visa, like a student visa or a working visa. So I was
Yeah,
just on a visitor's visa. I just crashed on people's couches. I went surfing, we climbed Mount
yeah.
Fuji, and all kinds of cool stuff.
You just want to kind of live your life.
I was, yeah,
Yeah,
initially. And
that's
then
pretty cool to be able to go back and forth and have people to go visit.
yeah, it was pretty badass.
Yeah, and then so the 89th day, how many times did you go back and forth to Japan and
That
America?
was my last time, dude.
Yeah.
98 was my last time in Japan, yeah.
What made you want to go back? The people you missed or the culture?
Oh yeah, dude. It's crazy. Like just people from all over the United States that were there, all of us together. Just almost every single one of them's like, dude, if I can go back, I would totally go back.
Yeah. Have you been back since you got out?
Oh, the army? No.
Nah, you don't have any plan, dude. That's what me and my wife's like dream vacations go to Japan.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm a big ramen guy, obviously.
Oh,
You
I
gotta love
love
ramen.
ramen.
Yeah. Um, so you came back from Japan, your last time, and you're around like what, 20, probably 19, 20 years old,
Yep, something like that. Yeah,
and
19.
then that's when you tried the Air Force.
No, I was 19, and then because I was at that little Italian place, I was
Mm,
like, dude, I'm really good at cooking. Like I
yeah,
enjoy it. So I went to culinary school for a year down in Portland, downtown Portland, Oregon.
that's actually really cool. I mean, so do you enjoy cooking now or no?
Oh yeah, I do like 95% of all the cooking at home.
Oh
It
yeah,
just it just helps, like my wife comes home and it's like
uh huh.
I
Just
don't
help.
expect her to cook dinner like
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
working. Yeah.
So you didn't finish culinary arts, did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. How long is that school over there?
The one I went to was a year.
A year. And
Yeah.
then did you so you bounce around different restaurants as like a chef or something?
Um, dude, not really, man.
No.
I did like so you do like an externship at the end, kind of
Uh
like an
huh.
internship. And I did it at the Marriott in Seattle.
Yeah.
There are so many places you could have went depending on your grades. Like they were sending
Yeah.
people to the Playboy Mansion, all the way to Scotland, all kinds of crazy stuff. But
What is
I
the
decided,
what did you learn the most from being at the Marriott?
I guess, order and discipline. Oddly enough,
Yeah. Was it like
it's a hotel, man. So it's like you get like your morning brief. It's kind of like like first call in the army, I guess.
uh
Kind of
huh.
like first sergeant meetings or whatever.
How long did you do this job?
I just did the externship, man, and they're like, do you want to get hired on after? And I was like, no, I'm going back to Portland. Yeah.
Did you try any other culinary spots or no?
After that, yeah. So I met my ex-wife in Oregon at the beach, and then I ended up working at this small like steakhouse kind of place. Dude, out in the sticks, man.
Yeah.
It was like a town of like 3,000 people.
Yeah. You cook a mean ass ribeye, huh?
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude. Reverse sear?
Always, man. Oven first, yeah.
Oh,
Or yeah, I got a Weber. I just yeah,
do the offset and then sear it?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what year is this around when you're in Portland and you're at this restaurant?
So this is probably like 2000 to 2003.
Okay. Oh, so you spent some time over there.
I did, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you were you just not enjoying it anymore or
No, we ended up getting separated.
okay.
We had a son together. He'll be 24 this month. Um, yeah, so like I couldn't afford to like live on my own and pay child support, and then like I had two
Yeah.
cars to pay for. I ended up both getting freaking repoed. So I was like, I don't know, 22, 23, something like that. I had to like move back in with my parents, man. It was kind of embarrassing. So
Right.
that's what kind of kicked me to like join the military. So I was like, dude, like what am I doing?
Right.
You know?
And did you try to go back to the Air Force or no?
No, dude, after the guy laughed in my face, I was like,
Yeah.
I'll try something else.
Hey, so you went to the Army recruiter or you tried a different recruiter?
No, I just went to the army.
So when you get there, um 9/11 already happened. Like what was the vibe like? Were they pushing you towards like, hey, you're gonna fucking go infantry or you're gonna be a Calf Scout or what?
No, I already knew after the
Cause
Air Force thing. I didn't like go immediately next door. It took, maybe another week or two. And
mhm,
then I wanted to join the Air Force to be a PJ. I just
right,
wanted to be the best of the best, I guess. And then so I kind of wanted to do something combat oriented. I know PJs aren't, they go and help people and all that good stuff, but um so I was like, all right, I'm joining the army. I didn't want to join the Marines. And my dad's like, if you're gonna join the Navy, be a SEAL. And I was like, man, I surfed a lot, but like swimming like that, like like drown proofing and all. I was like, man, I'm good with that. So I went in there knowing I was gonna join the infantry. Like I was, almost mid 20s, and I was like, yep, I want to join. I want to go infantry. And the guy was like, damn, all right. And so it was super easy that transition.
yeah. Did you get a high ASVAB score? Or did they try? So they didn't try to push you for anything else. You're just like, I'm doing infantry because, and they probably took your word for it because you're a little bit older. They always try to
Yeah,
manipulate the 18-year-olds.
yeah, no, they did. I honestly, I don't even remember my ASVAB score. I don't even know what else I qualified for. I just
Hmm.
like, dude, I want infantry. I want to go to ranger school. I want to be a ranger. Blah blah.
Yeah.
So,
What year is this? Roughly like 2000, late 2003,
this is '04.
04 already.
Yep,
How long from when you signed you left to basic training?
dude, like just 2 months maybe.
What did your dad say about you joining the army? Anything good?
He was okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah. So you go to Fort Benning, right?
Fort beginning. Yep.
Fort Benning, and you go to infantryman school, and it's 14 weeks, 16 weeks.
I think it was 18.
Dang, man.
Well, it was like combined with OSIT and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I always forget you guys have like a continued basic training and stuff.
Yeah.
So, what is the tempo like there? I talked to a lot of other people, and it's a little bit different for some people that joined earlier, and then some people that joined a little bit later. Like, what is the tempo like? Hey, you guys are gonna go to Afghanistan, Iraq, so we're gonna push y'all harder, or
Yeah. All the drill sergeants are like, you guys are all getting deployed, they weren't trying to scare us. They're just being real about it, I guess. It was funny because while we were there, dude, we're like, dude, we're gonna get like the group photo at the end, and when people start dying, we're gonna mark X's off their faces. Like that was kind of the humor.
yeah,
But yeah, no, they're like, we're almost at that point, we're almost up to 1,000 deaths from Iraq and Afghanistan. So that they always like reiterated like the numbers to us, like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
yeah.
Statistically, somebody in here is gonna die, like more than a handful of you will die, blah blah blah. So
Uh-huh. And like at the last couple weeks, did you? Oh, hold on. First, did you like find basic training challenging at all, or no? Because you always been
no.
in pretty good shape, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last PT test, I got over 300. They it w- I think like conforming, being older and then conforming
yeah,
to the rules, I guess. I was kind of like, what the hell? Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I thought I was better. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we had a dude, he was in his 30s, man. He was a sergeant. He was in during Operation Desert Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back in with a SF contract. So he was an
Yeah.
18 X-ray. And he's like, come here, dude. And he talked to me. He's like, dude, you can't do that. Like, you have to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. And kind of straightened me out. Like, not, all positive stuff. But I was like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah, man, you're a very rebellious kid, huh?
I was, man.
Yeah, it's that punk rock.
Yep, 100%.
You like the Misfits?
I do it.
Yeah, me too. So when you get your orders to go to the hunter first, did you have drill sergeants like talk you up, like, hey, you're going to like the elite units or no?
Not really.
No,
Again, I am the way I always have been, so I was pretty quiet and yeah, didn't really talk to them too much.
no. And what day did you report over there? Do you remember roughly what time frame?
It was November of '04.
November 2004.
Yeah,
And you go straight to the Curry.
I did. Yeah, they just stood up that brigade.
Oh,
We ended up like bringing a bunch of old World War II vets
uh-huh.
when we did the encasing of the flags and all that stuff. So it was pretty cool.
That that does sound pretty cool. Did they was it I don't even know why they reactivated or anything.
Well, they were in Korea,
Uh-huh.
so they or deactivated in Korea and then brought it back to Fort Campbell. So
Oh, cool. How was the training tempo, or how was your first platoon, you know?
it was cool, man. They're a bunch of dickheads. I mean, when I showed up, they were like walking back in from Iraq. The whole platoon had went to the invasion. So, being the new guy after they'd come back, from that deployment, and they're on a field exercise, FTX or whatever, and they were like walked back like, 12, 15 miles, and here's a new guy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
like two
they
weeks, 2 weeks later, I was already in air assault school.
Oh, wow. So they made you go to air assault school like right away.
Yep.
How was the so when did you guys find out after you went to air assault school that you were going to go to you went to Iraq first, right?
Yeah. I think we knew pretty early on we were going to Iraq. It's just initially we were told Solder City, Solder City, Solder City. We didn't know we were going to Ramadi until we were actually in Kuwait.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
is Solder City? Is a different city there? Like is that
yeah,
our term, or is that like the actual city there?
it's an actual city.
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
So,
Uh, so you knew pretty early, and we're talking about like what, 6 to 12 months, or
yeah, within the years, what they told us at the end
okay.
of '04.
And how was your leadership in the platoon and your guys? Like, I obviously you guys did like squad sticks, platoon sticks, all that stuff leading up to it, right?
They were good. We had a old Samoan platoon sergeant when I first got there. He wasn't there that long, but he had these big ass freaking sausage fingers, man. And every Monday, he'd go back, he'd walk behind the platoon, and if
Uh
he can grab your hairs on the behind on your neck, if he
yeah.
can grab them with his sausage fingers, you're fucked. He'd slap you on the back of the head. And, yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Sounds classic, dude. Like, obviously can't do that no
I
more.
know. I know.
It's a little
I
weird.
remember I remember people getting smoked like from different companies. And if you
Yeah.
just happen to be walking by and you like accidentally look,
Yeah.
dude, but like not I can't even see these words anymore because it's freaking 2025. But
Oh, you can say whatever you want on here, dude.
I was like, hey, faggot, get over here. You want some? Get the fuck over here, faggot. And be like, what? No. And you'd end up getting smoked for no reason.
Yeah. Man, dude. Yeah, I think, man, dude. So when I became an NCO in the army, they were always like, "You got to do the smoking with your soldier." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that, dude."
What?
Yeah, dude. And then you don't remember they were always like, "Oh, you can't do more than 10."
I do remember that part. And I was like,
Yeah,
what?
dude. I remember because I smoked my soldiers because they didn't salute the flag in the morning,
Hmm.
and one of the NCO I was doing sick call, and then the NCO was like, "Hey man, I already told your soldiers what's up," and I was like, "Fuck that!" I was like, "I'm about to make them do some crazy shit." I was in the aviation too, so they were very soft, and
Oh
I was like, I
yeah.
was like, "Oh nah, dude," I was like, I'm breaking out some freaking what I was taught," and at least they never did it again though. Um, so when you guys deploy, um, you go to Kuwait first, right?
Mhm.
And what is Kuwait like at this point? Because we're talking about like late 2004, maybe 2005.
It was the end of 2005.
2005.
It's a big dust bowl, man. A bunch of tents, and I mean, they had hard structures and things like that, but just
Yeah.
a transient point, honestly, for your next location.
Yeah.
Just a
And
bunch of fucking people.
how long were you there for?
I think almost 3 weeks. I think.
3 weeks. And when did you find out you were going to go to Ramadi? Right, you went to Ramadi first.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe halfway through. I think we figured it out.
And what is your leadership at this time? Did anybody was anybody around that area their first deployment? Because you said there's some of them were in the invasion. They like brief
I,
y'all up like, hey, we're going into the shit, dude.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody had been to the Sunni Triangle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the Sunni Triangle?
I can't really explain it, man. I sound like a dumbass, but it's just it's the literal triangle on a map. It's just like I
Yeah.
think it has something to do with like the Shias and the Sunnis,
Uh
the
huh.
different tribes, I guess, the different
Yeah.
sects, I guess. Fucking hate each other.
Like the tribes hate each other, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you guys go to Ramadi, are you guys convoying? Are you walking? Did you get dropped off
Oh
in a
no.
helicopter?
Helicopter.
Helicopter?
Yep.
Did you actually air assault into it?
Air no, they landed. I think we're in a bunch of Sea Knights, a bunch of Navy, kind of like Chinooks.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's just
That,
at night, and just dude. This is the craziest thing. Is like I remember like talking to my buddies. I'm like, dude, do you remember a single day while we were in Ramadi where you didn't hear something happen? Like
yeah.
either gunfire or IEDs, fucking RPGs, mortars. And
Yeah.
dude, every single one of us is like, no, man. Like, I remember landing that night and seeing tracers in the background.
Oh my
I'm like,
god, dude.
it's like, damn.
And is it the tribes fighting or are they trying to shoot the helicopter or what?
Oh no, that was all U.S. versus freaking Al Qaeda and all that stuff.
Dang, man. So like when you get there, you're already taking you already see shots fired and everything.
Yep.
And what kind of like area are you guys in? Is it like Hesco's or is it a hard stand building? Did you guys take over like a palace or something?
So they'd initially taken over an agricultural college.
Hmm.
So we had hard stand buildings, but I mean sandbags over the windows, all that
Hmm.
stuff.
Did
Getting
you guys
mortared all the time.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like combat every freaking night.
Yeah.
Is this area like a platoon size or is it a company?
We were at Camp Corregidor, so we had a battalion plus, I guess. We had Navy Seabees there. We had I think SEAL Team 3 or SEAL Team 5 was out there.
Hmm.
Um it wasn't that big, man.
No. So we're talking about like roughly maybe like two football fields, maybe.
Maybe two or three, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And what was the mission for you guys there? Were you guys like hearts and minds type people, or was it
Hell no.
just
Our ROE was if they peek around the corner more than twice, fucking
yeah?
shoot them in the face.
Were you so there was curfew, right?
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that? What was the curfew time? Do you remember?
Oh man, I don't remember. 9, 10 o'clock, something like that.
And so it's just like, hey, if you're out past this, you're not up to any good. You're done.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get there, like, do you guys establish like guard right away throughout the battalion, or do you guys who's pulling the guard around there or whatever?
It just fluctuates between the different companies I was on there. We had I think it was a Bravo company. They were, I don't know, maybe a mile or so down the road. They had like OP Trotter. They're down over there.
Oh,
Or just a company by itself.
oh, that's
They had more of the
interesting.
guard on the outskirts, I guess. There's a
Mm-hmm.
graveyard that was down the road.
Right.
They would kind of like it was trade off doing, I guess that stuff. And they ran missions too up in the I think
Mm-hmm.
north of them. It was a place called Sophia. There's a bunch of like palm trees and like openness. I think it was I think the Euphrates was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the tempo like? You guys going out on patrols on the streets?
Oh yeah. So my company commander used to be an enlisted Navy SEAL.
Uh huh.
So, dude, like we got all the fucking missions, man. Like
Yeah.
he's like, "Yep, we're doing it."
He was just so gung ho, right? And then some of you are like, I just want to relax for one day or whatever.
Yeah, we trade off doing. So we do like guard, fucking, I don't know, shit around there, around the
Yeah.
buildings, and then
QRF.
QRF, and then mission
Well,
platoons.
yeah. What is your first mission like in Ramadi? Because I mean, you guys. Okay, you guys. When you guys get there, you already seen bullet gunshots, and you're seeing a lot of assets there, right? We're not just talking about a major army unit. We're talking about Navy. I assume there's government agencies there, probably like the CIA.
Yeah, so this is the same time they were looking for Zarqawi
Uh huh.
in 2006. They were looking for, I think he was the number 2 or 3 guy on like the deck of cards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I remember this dude walking in with a beard like mine. He's got civilian clothes on, and he's got I think it's a Scar Heavy on his back, and he's no shit, he's carrying a briefcase, and he like walks into our company war room, and like he knows my fucking company commander, and they're just like chit chatting, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, I'm pretty sure Delta was out there. I think Task Force 145 was out there at one point.
Man, this is a heavy area. Like I'm trying to, for people that are listening, we don't just have a major army battalion. We have some of the upper echelons of special operations community and obviously some three-letter agencies. So Ramadi is a very heavy area. How long did you stay in Ramadi?
Dude, 1 year.
1 year. Did you do R&R too?
I did. I came back. I think it was May or June of 2006. It was for like 2 weeks
Did you not want to come back? It's okay to say it
to
now.
to, to Ramadi.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it was so hot, man. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care about the mission. I didn't care about the missions, man. I really didn't. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm doing my job as an infantryman, like, dude,
Yeah.
one day we cleared like 70 fucking houses, like just getting after it, man.
Uh
Like,
huh.
doing battle drill 6. And I'll give you a dumb private Lawson moment here in a minute, but dude, like I was doing my fucking job, dude, like kicking down doors, I never
Right.
shot, kicked down a door and shot anybody in the fucking face like I wanted to, but um anyway, so kicking down the doors, right? Flashbangs, right? They have 2 safety pins.
Uh huh.
Um, and my squad leader's like, hey, I'm gonna kick this. I want you to flashbang it. I'm like, fuck yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So pull both of them, and like a dumbass, I threw the fucking pins away. Right. And I'm holding this motherfucker in my right hand, and he's getting ready to kick this fucking door down. And right before he starts to kick this door down, this old guy with a cane walks up to the fucking door. So like, dude, like typical old guy. He's like, Mista, Mista. And he opens the door for us and lets us in. And I'm holding this fucking flashbang, dude. And I don't
um,
tell anyone. And we end up clearing the house, and I'm fucking like an idiot holding this fucking flashbang with no pins anymore because I don't know what the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Dude, for like 2 houses, man, like a dumbass. And my fucking squad leader looks at it. He's like, you dumb motherfucker. Excuse me, pulls me up on the roof, and I fucking had to throw it on the roof. My fucking hand was all cramped and shit. Dumbass.
Dude, I mean that's cool though because I mean a lot of people, I mean a lot of infantry dudes that I was with, they were like salivating at the mouth to try to clear houses and stuff like that, dude. And obviously the mission changed when we
It
went
did.
to different areas, but I mean, did you guys have like basic M4s or what y'all have at the time?
So we had M4s, and then some of the team leaders and squad leaders had suppressed M4s, um, which, dude, it's not like the movies. It's still loud as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we usually they would we'd rock those at night.
Uh huh.
And it kind of sucks, man. Try to take dogs out at night so they wouldn't give our position away type stuff. But I think they ended up taking them off.
Uh huh.
Uh,
That's cool, man. I mean, dude, I don't know if you know about this, but there's a big gun community out there, and people are in love with CQB, and and like they're civilian people. They probably do excel during their daytime,
yeah,
and I always tell them like, you don't need all that sexy gear, man. Trust me. Like I know people that were doing it with like the bare minimums, dude.
yeah, man. God, we trained so much battle drill 6, man, before we deployed.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, hours and hours, man, like backbreaking shit, dude. Oh,
Did y'all know that you were gonna do a lot of Battle Drill 6 over there?
yeah. I mean, because even Solder City, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a city, so we
Yeah.
knew we knew we were doing research and all that stuff on where we were going.
Yeah.
and lots of buildings,
Yeah. Battle Drill
streets,
Six
and
for everybody that's listening is entering and clearing a room. I think it's like
oh,
the
sorry,
official title, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, man. There's people on here that's never been in the military.
Yeah,
um.
no worries.
So what? Besides the kicking in doors and snatching bad guys and stuff, like the firefighting, how is it? Is it short? Is it long winded? Is there sometimes it spurts?
So we weren't necessarily fighting Iraqis,
Yeah.
because it was like Al Qaeda. So a lot of, I think, what we were fighting were like Northern African. We had word that,
Mm-hmm.
there were Chechnyan snipers out in our AO, things like that. Um, but you know what? Our deployment, the one you and I went on, they
Mm-hmm.
would stay and fight longer than they did in Iraq. And in Iraq, it was a lot of spray and fucking just dip out.
Yeah. Really, man. I can't wait to get into our deployment because I have
Me
something.
too, man.
I have something. I have something really nice to say about you.
I still talk about like when you and I went out, but yeah, we'll leave that for later.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so you spent a year in Ramadi. It's freaking crazy. You're with a lot of assets out there. How long, when you come back from the 101st, that you go back to Mosul, right? Mosul.
I deployed in 2009 to Mosul.
Is that with was that with 136 or where did you go with?
Yep, 136. Yeah,
So you did only one deployment with the 101st.
yeah. I actually during that deployment, because I always talked about going to Ranger School. I never did. But my platoon sergeant, he was tab. He had a sapper tab and a ranger tab, and we
Yeah.
came back from a mission one day, and he's like, "Hey, Lawson, you know how you always wanted to go to Ranger School?" And I got all nervous, man, because I was like, "Am I leaving to go to Ranger School right now? Like, fuck, fuck, it's too hot for that shit, man."
Yeah.
He's like, "You got orders to go to 6 RTB. It's the last phase of Ranger School. Obviously to play out four or do whatever, but he's like, dude, guaranteed, all those dudes always have chances to go to Ranger School." So that's the last phase for your listeners that aren't you know
That's in
knowledgeable
Florida.
about the Army. Yeah, it's in Florida.
So you went
Um,
you went there.
I did not.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you got orders there.
I did.
What
So
happened?
a bunch of us came down on orders to go to 6 RTB from the 101st.
Yeah.
And dude, I like we were looking up apartments, so much so that like it was getting so close to like leaving Campbell. The civilians at reassignments called all of us back to reassignments, and we showed up, and there's like I don't know 20 people there, and like we all had paperwork in our hands, and we're just happy because freaking Florida, Ranger School looking awesome. And then this civilian like stands up and he's like, "I'm so sorry. It's not my fault. I gotta break it to you. You guys all of us, you guys all got redirected to go to Fort Bliss, Texas." And every single one of us was like, "What the fuck is Fort Bliss, Texas?" And he's like, the ADA. And I was a specialist, so I was like, "What the fuck is ADA?" Like I didn't even fucking know, like a
Uh-huh.
dumbass. And I did research and found out I was going to a TRADOC unit. They're like
Yeah.
testing, like a testing unit. I don't know if you remember like 2-1 over at Bliss,
Mm,
Second Brigade. They were doing
yeah.
all the testing
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they were doing like weapons and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was called 2 Cab, and it was on Old Fort Bliss. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was there for I don't know, like 2 years,
So
and
okay, so you were only at the 101st from what you said, maybe like
about 3 years.
oh, so like '07 is when you left,
Yep.
and then you went to go do the what was the why did you, I mean when you get to the training brigade, what is it like? Are they helping the first brigade and third brigade deploy or no?
So they weren't there yet. They were all still in Germany.
Oh damn! So
Yeah,
it's only a training post basically.
it's like less than 2 battalions worth.
Oh okay,
And the ADA was there, and
yeah,
I think somebody from First Cav was there. I don't fucking remember 410 or whatever. But
yeah,
we trained a lot, man, and we did like underground sensor testers and like things that can kind of look through walls and sense motion and
yeah,
like the iRobot
yeah,
stuff like that. So we're just testing a bunch of stuff. But like, dude, the training we got, like, I was really surprised. We had an amazing group of NCOs, man, from all over. Like our fucking first sergeant.
yeah,
Awesome guy, man. Well, obviously, he's a tab dude he was I think he came from the 173rd. Bunch of tab fucking E5s, E6s, and just dude, the training
yeah.
we got was just it was awesome. So
Were
actually I
you
learned a lot. I learned more there in that TRADOC unit than I did in the 101st.
Did you were you still a specialist at this time?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And so 2 years, you get a lot of good training, and that's when they stand up First Brigade and Third Brigade around like what 08 maybe.
I think it was '08. Um, I don't even remember when I went over there, man. I think it was '08. So I
You're
don't even
showing
think
your
I was
you're
at.
showing your old age. That's what you're doing.
I know, man. I wasn't even at two cab for 2 years, I don't think. But when I left there, I was in the army, I don't know, maybe 4.5 years. And I
Yeah.
just pinned staff sergeant, and then I re-enlisted to go to 136 because I just met my wife. I knew I was
Okay.
going to deploy. I knew, and her parents live in El Paso. They're all from Hawaii, but I knew I was going to deploy no matter where I PCS to. So I was like, dude, let me just go across the street.
Yeah.
Family's here. She's pregnant. Like it's
Yeah.
perfect. So
Yeah. So you got E6 probably around like what 5.5, 6 years.
4.5.
Four. Dang man, look at you. Freaking
Just PT
biker.
back then, man. If you could run back then, that was all. That was all you had. That's all you
Oh,
needed.
oh, you didn't go to the school or nothing, huh?
No, man. I didn't do anything sexy.
No. We did did you miss like deployments, or you were just like, nah, I'm just chilling, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, like it kind of bothered me that I was in a trade-off unit, even though like I got quality training.
Hmm.
It just bothered me because we're still in a time of war, man, and
Yeah. You're still
that's not
infantry.
something you want to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
So when you go across the street to 136, you reenlist there. You're I don't know. I know people that deployed with you guys, but I just don't know like the whole story of everything. And you guys are going to Iraq. What company were you in?
I was in Alpha Company,
Oh, so you're in Alpha Company
136.
for a while, huh?
I was, man.
Dude, there we
Yeah.
go. Shout out Alpha Company
Yep.
136.
It was awesome company.
Oh, it was awesome company.
Yeah, and then our motto was "We're fucking awesome," so that was cool.
um, so when you guys go to Iraq, um, Iraq two, you're at Iraq two. Um, Mosul was a I'm not trying to downplay it, but was a hardcore place. Is it still like that when you get there?
No, it's where they ended up, capturing or killing Uday and Qusay,
Hmm.
um, Saddam's kids. Um, yeah, like in the past, it was very, tumultuous. I guess that place was very hardcore. But yeah, when I got there, dude, I didn't hear a single round go off.
It was not like Ramadi.
No, man, not a single IED. We lost one staff sergeant to a vehicle rollover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The like your platoon did?
No, so you know whose platoon it was?
Whose?
I Maybe it was. Remember Simmons?
Yeah.
I think that dude's bad luck, man. We'll talk about that one later too. But
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Uh yeah, so man, that's it's wild because that's only like a what, maybe like a 5 year difference from your first deployment to your second one to
oh
Iraq.
06, 3 years, yeah, oh 06, and then we deployed. I got back in oh 06, and then we deployed in oh 09.
Yeah. Okay. So that I mean that's in 3 years. That's a lot. A lot of things can happen in 3 years. So though the
Yep.
war was going on, and I guess we were just kicking ass, taking names, and then it finally died down a little bit.
Yeah, I think I remember like them like starting to shut everything down.
Did you were you kind of upset about the deployment? It wasn't like as hardcore as you thought.
Now you know what? I did a little bit of reflecting.
Yeah.
I was kind of a dick. Um, so I got put in my place by my platoon sergeant.
Like
I
you
just
were
I, I,
to your soldiers.
no, just overall like it's just a negative person.
Yeah.
And like anytime something would happen or he said something, and I always had something to say. Not like anything towards him or anything like that, but I always had something to say. And then one day we're having a meeting. We're in Mosul. We're at a platoon cop, and it was like a shared checkpoint with a Iraqi army, and then up on the hill, the Peshmerga, they were up there. So, and I remember he was just like, "Dude, you always bitch." And he wasn't like angry. He wasn't gonna smoke me, but he's like, "You always bitching, dude. That's all you do is bitch." And it like hit me like hardcore, dude. And I was like, "Oh." So I mean, so started to take some good with the bad, and I kind of learned a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to hear from like leaders you respect. Like, hey, what are my weaknesses? You know,
Yeah,
and honestly, I remember doing that when I was a brand new E5. I was just like, I would complain, and the soldiers would be around, and I'm like, God. And then
I know,
finally,
right?
yeah. But see, I'm still at the mentality too, like where I'm just like, damn, dude, I hate this. Like, it sucks, right? Like everybody knows that it sucks. Like even the first sergeant that's making your life more miserable knows it sucks,
Yep,
and
100%.
you kind of just gotta nut up and get over it. And honestly, I learned that a lot from you guys. Like, dude, when I went to the aviation, it was freaking cake, dude. I'm telling you, it was so easy. They made it hard on themselves. Like the field,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, dude, this is cake. Like it's so easy. So I learned a lot from you guys about honestly keeping your cool too, because you know a lot of people lose their cool in stressful environments, and it's really it's important even for your leaders to see that hey, this guy's chill. So like I think he can lead this or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, like it's something like no one told me. It's something I just kind of learned and kind of took on myself was, dude, like before every mission when we were in Ramadi, dude, I was scared shitless.
Yeah,
Before we rolled out that gate, dude, I was fucking nervous, man, like anxiety ridden every fucking time. Right? I didn't let anyone see it, but inside, like I was like, dude, I wanted to like scream and just fucking it was crazy, man.
wow,
Um, but as soon as you left that gate, man, like dude, it just disappeared for
yeah,
me. And you know, and I never like taught myself to do that or told myself, you know, like had a talk with myself or whatever. I wasn't like, all right, man, you gotta do this for the guys, blah blah. No, I just like it just shut off, man, and like a light switch, man. Like everything was
yeah,
just switched on. I was like, dude, all right, let's go.
yeah. It's kind of like
Like,
comfort, like your comfort level.
yeah, and our deployment, the one you and I did together, like same way, dude. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
man,
We'll get into it because I was like that too in the beginning, a lot. And dude, I was 19. I think I was I was probably I was 19 years old
damn.
on the deployment, dude. And dude, I'll still pay my GI Bill. Yeah. So when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh crap, you were still brand new in the army when we left," and it was pretty cool though. So you deployed. Okay, so we're talking about we're gonna get up into our deployment, and this is around 2012.
Yep.
You're still in Alpha Company, right?
Yep.
And you're a squad leader, or were you gonna take over a platoon and somebody came in and took it over, or
No, so before we deployed, I was a weapons squad leader.
mhm.
So
What is a
for your
web squad
listeners, so yeah,
leader?
for your listeners, you know, so in charge of the two machine guns, um, the two machine gun teams. Um, and before we deployed, the battalion commander like had talked to our company commander and basically our PL and platoon sergeant was like, hey, there's like one fucking platoon cop, you know, you guys are getting it. So
Alpha
we were just
Company
like, yeah,
or the
like
platoon? Your platoon.
yeah, first platoon was was the only one to get the platoon cop.
Yeah.
So we were just
Before you get into it, what do you
yeah.
hear about Afghanistan compared to Iraq?
So I guess like tribal knowledge, I guess, or whatever, prior to going to that is just like we knew the Taliban would stay and fight, you know, and we'd be fighting at distance, you
Yeah.
know. Whereas Ramadi was literally kicking in doors and, you know, shooting around corners and, you know,
Yeah.
alleyways and things like that. So like we
Yeah.
knew, you know, snipers were going to be effective, our mortar men, machine gunners, all that good stuff. So we trained a lot with all that stuff before we deployed.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that when 9/11 happened, we actually went to Afghanistan first. It wasn't Iraq. And
Yep.
Afghanistan has a rich history of beating other countries. Very,
Everyone.
very rich history of beating everybody up. Like they beat the Russians up bad.
Hmm.
So I know there's a big book out there. If anybody's wondering, it's called Lions of Kandahar. And
I read it.
yeah, we can get into it too. I haven't read all of it yet, but I read a little bit. Um,
Yep.
I'm not a big reader. I'm kind of slow.
Talk about the
Um,
Argon Dob and all that stuff.
So when you guys, so the battalion commander is Colonel Admiral at the time, and he's telling the platoon, or he's telling your company commander to tell the platoon, say, "Hey, y'all are gonna get the platoon size cop."
Yep.
Eh,
Yep.
Yeah, it's right outside Hatal, right?
It was north. I don't know, like 15 clicks north or something like that.
Yeah, and it's in the
Right
mountains.
south. It's kind of like the base.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so like right at the very bottom of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, not like super like nudged up to the mountain or anything like
Mhm.
that, but it was up there.
Yeah, how many of y'all are there?
So weapons squad, my platoon sergeant, he was pretty innovative. Personnel, I don't think anybody was ever 100% on personnel.
Yeah, it was
Um,
weird, right?
yeah. So what we had at the time was two squads, and then myself as a weapons squad. What he did was break that down into two squads. He just attached a gun team to each squad. So we had a fat squad and a gun team and a machine gun team.
Hmm.
Um, and then I became the first squad leader, and then my buddy was the second squad leader.
Yeah. How was it when like, okay, so we're in Kandahar. We're taking off in the Chinooks, right? Do you guys go to
Mhm.
Hotal? You go to Hotal first. You go to the OP.
No, so I'm rewind here a little bit, but you remember we all went to Manis?
Yeah, the snowy place. Yeah,
Yeah, up in Kyrgyzstan.
yeah.
So my platoon sergeant comes running in the tent. He's like, dude, I found some of the guys that are like we're ripping with at our platoon cop. And I was like, how the fuck did you find them? You know what I mean? It's this
Uh-huh.
Air Force base in Kyrgyzstan. So we all run to this tent and we can hear someone in the background like, hey, are you guys the ones going to D Maywan? And we're
That's what
like,
it's called,
yeah,
TV One. Yeah,
yeah. And then they're like, take pictures of your feet, dude. And we were just like, oh, fuck. Like we're about to get blown up by IEDs and fucking yeah.
it was that. Oh, yeah. I was trying to remember. You know, now that you bring it up, I remember people talking about D Main One. I didn't remember it now, and then hopefully when everybody's listening to it, we get some more people on here. So your old platoon
Yeah.
sergeant, get your old platoon sergeant on here.
Shit.
Um, um, so Manis is like in Kyrgyzstan, it's the Air Force base, and that's where it's kind of like the Kuwait,
Yep.
right? And then so we go to CAF, which is Kandahar Airfield. You take
Hmm.
off in a Chinook. Um, you guys are looking out the windows, right? You're like, oh shit, the mountains. You see Iran, and you guys go to Hatal first, or
Yeah. Man, my memory is horrible, dude. I think we did. I think we did.
I think you kind of have to, right? Because that's like
Yeah.
there's
That's where
no
the co-
way a
that's where the
Chinook is gonna land there, and Demon One
oh yeah, I mean that's how we got all of our most of our stuff was
was the Chinook.
yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. So they would like airdrop it there, or they would land and
Yep. They'd usually just land and drop things off for us.
damn, dude. This is like so. If anybody's wondering, we're talking about a platoon size cop is probably like a square football field, square root, probably maybe even
Yep.
smaller than that.
Ours was a triangle, yeah.
Hmm.
It was
So
called
good?
it was called Strong Point Demiland at one point, but yeah.
How was it when you first get there? We're in December, not in fighting season.
Not fighting season,
Yeah,
but we ended up getting in lots of firefights, man. Like I got in more firefights on that deployment than I did in Ramadi.
damn.
Yeah. I
So
think our company commander at the time, this is after I got to Charlie Company.
yeah,
I don't want to jump the gun here or anything, but they would 'cause the company commanders and the first arms, dude, they were tight. All of them, they all liked each other and all that good stuff. But so they would like talk shit to each other. So our company commander ended up making like a pie graph of like the rest of the battalion
uh huh,
and then Alpha Company, like ticks, like troops in contact, right?
yeah,
And it was just like just disparagingly, like it was just Alpha
yeah,
Company and then the rest of the battalion combined.
yeah.
Yeah,
That I mean, that's like an infantryman's dream. Even though it sounds pretty crazy, it's like exactly what you guys sign
for
up
sure,
for,
man.
you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
And so TIC is TIC, troops in combat. He already said it.
Troops in contact.
And what?
Troops in contact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, contact. Okay, my bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was staff sergeant. He was a retired mass sergeant. My bad.
No, no, no. You're good, dude.
What is the patrols like when you guys go out to the mountains and do you go to the villages and stuff? Like, what is it like?
So I hated Afghanistan more than I did Iraq.
Right.
And it was, I hate to say it, man, but it was just the people there. Like I've personally, I just feel like they didn't care as much as the Iraqis did. Like even in Ramadi, like one of the
Yeah.
worst places ever, dude, at that time.
Yeah.
I hear there's like, like a small amusement park there now. And, after we had left '06, so maybe probably during the surge, maybe a little bit before that, what I had heard is like the local population like ended up banding together to destroy Al Qaeda in that area, basically,
Yeah.
because they're fucking tired of that shit, you know. And I don't think that ever would happen in Afghanistan,
Yeah, man. It was a lack of a better terms. It's a shithole. it,
dude. It's so
it,
beautiful, man. But yeah, you're right.
yeah, like it's just so weird. Like like you said, the vibe of people over there. It seems like they don't really care because they know they can't do anything.
Yep.
And man, yeah, it's pretty frustrating because of what happened. And oh man, we'll bring it up. But so how long are you at D Main One before you get word you're gonna come be our platoon daddy?
I don't know, 5 or 6 months.
So this is like what, April, May, right?
Yeah, I think I got to Charlie Company down at Cop PK probably the end of May, like
Mhm.
right before um the Stokely thing. So
Yeah. Did you? How did you feel like leaving D Main One? You didn't want to leave, right?
they actually closed down DB1.
Oh, okay. So how long
Yeah.
were you guys at D Main One before they closed it?
Basically, dude, like I made the E7 list.
Right.
Um, we shut down D Maywan and we got to Atoll. Dude, the very next day, I was in a striker with the fucking command sergeant major heading over to you guys over at Cop PK.
Dang.
Dude, I
Uh,
talk about a wild change, man, from being a squad leader and going out and just destroying shit. You know
yeah.
what I mean? To being a platoon sergeant, like in a whole different company, like while you're deployed, you know, like all the
Yeah.
bonds and all the tightness that we had as a squad and platoon. I I was pretty sad, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I would be too. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, like when we got back, I left you guys short right after. It wasn't very long and it sucked. So
yeah.
um uh so you get to us around April, and I remember you being on a patrol with us. I don't remember if I think everybody was there, but I just remember seeing you and everybody was like, "That's our platoon sergeant. You don't say nothing. He's not." Because people don't know our platoon sergeant before him was very loud and obnoxious, and he was very self righteous. He was very about himself. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there, painting the picture of the two different types of people we're getting here. Um, and I forgot what our first mission was, but I don't think it was the firefight one.
Hmm.
Because
Dude, I have
we
a
did,
horrible memory.
yeah, me too. I know we got down one time, but I don't remember if that's the first one. But like the one that we're talking about, the one that's most memorable, is
Dude,
I think that's when you fully took over,
yeah.
and we were in a truck and we dismounted, and he looks at me. So the medic and the platoon sergeant are like this. We're always together, and he looks at me. Hey, Doc, I think we're gonna get in a fucking firefight.
Dude, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, I was like, nah. I was like, nah. Well, dude. I'm a private. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that shit, man. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, because I mean, it's not that I didn't, but I was like you, like you and Ramadi. I was scared, man. Like I didn't know what to do. I mean, I'm 19 years old, still paying my freaking GI Bill, and it's pretty like gut wrenching, like getting into a firefight. And I not at that before you, I probably got into like 3 or 4 before that, and it was just really, it's really hard to grasp, as a young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, we get down, and let me tell you, everybody that's listening, and I'm not trying to just kiss your ass because you're my friend. It's I felt like we got our balls when you came, and
Yeah.
everybody will say that too. Everybody will tell you that.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to talk about anybody negatively or,
Yeah, we
it's
don't have to.
it's
Yeah,
it's all in the past, dude. But when we
yeah,
got in that fucking first firefight together, and I was like, dude, we're about to get hit, and you're like, nah, whatever. And then
yeah,
literally, we're in a firefight, and I was the first one to return fire. And I remember looking around, and I was like, what the fuck?
yeah,
And it's because you guys have been trained basically, right, to for PID,
yeah,
positive identification. I'm like, dude, we just took fire from that side of that building, dude. Fucking destroy it. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. I
That
remember.
get heads down. Like that's what we're doing. And I
Yeah,
remember thinking, like, why am I the first one firing? This is fucking wild, dude.
yeah. We had the saw. I think we had 2 saws.
Yeah.
And then I do remember you yelling at. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I remember you yelling at them, and they were when you. I think they felt empowered. You know what I mean? And that's what an infantryman needs is like, hey, the confidence in from their leaders to say, hey, you got to do this. You can do this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and they were ripping it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
man, I never seen so many trigger happy people ever, and it was cool though because I was like, man, we are an entire. That's when we got our identity with you. Like, it was a different platoon at that point.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I love being in that company, man. It was awesome. I couldn't
yeah,
ask for like a better platoon too. It
yeah,
was awesome.
man, it was cool. I had a good time.
You know that
So,
same firefight though,
yeah, don't say
there was a
nothing.
lull in the firefight. Do you remember? There was a lull in the firefight, and I called it again. And I was like, Trevino, dude, we've been sitting here too long. We're gonna get shot at again, dude. And I remember you were like, not twice, basically, dude. And then
Yeah,
fucking firefight. I was like, yeah, dude.
yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. It's like, yeah, you're a bullet magnet,
Oh my God.
dude.
Every time even in Alpha Company, dude, every time I would go out, dude, firefight,
Yeah,
firefight,
dude.
dude.
What is it that do you have like a? Obviously, you're not a superhuman, but like you have like, hey, you saw signs, or you're like, hey, what's going? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I think that was just from my experience, like up in D-Mail, dude. Honestly, just kind of feeling it out. I guess I was like, dude, like, so like kind of like going back to like Ramadi. One time we were still kind of new in theater, and I remember these dudes in these dudes in like leather jackets. We are by this like elementary school kind of, and they were shooing the kids away. And we're so new, we're like, what the fuck is going on? You know? But like when there's people, it's good, right? And then the alley was empty. And we're like, what the fuck? And then bam, these dudes like cruise around this corner with RPGs and they're just fucking firing RPGs at us. And we're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? You know, skipping off the ground because one didn't pull the pin on it and the other one fucking goes above us. And we're
Uh
like,
huh.
whoa. Um, so just kind of like getting the atmospherics of whatever town we were in when we had that firefight. It was just I don't like I could sounds lame, dude, to say I could sense it, but I was like, man, it's like really quiet, dude.
Yeah. It's just like different signs, right? And like a feeling. I mean, if you get into so many, it's kind of like, hey, like my sixth sense is gonna talk to me.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember like one of the last firefights we got in before we left PK. Um I think like Staff Sergeant Roberts who was in the truck, he was in the strikers. I think Gennard was in the trucks too. And we got in a fucking firefight. And I remember, dude, like
Was that the running one?
I think so, dude. We're
Dude, that sucked.
like people got down, and I'm like kind of helping direct. I'm like yelling at everybody, but like I'm like, all right, Alpha Team, blah, blah, blah," and I'm, probably shouldn't have done that, but and I remember at that point, dude, I was so fucking tired of getting into fucking firefights, dude. I was so tired. Dude, like the
Uh-huh.
entire platoon got down to fucking suppress. And dude, I just walked. And I was firing and I was just walking. And I remember like I think it was Jones kind of like looked up. He was on the saw and he like looked up because I was walking and I was just like, dude, if I get hit, I get hit. I don't want to get down, dude. I'm tired of getting shot at. And he
Yeah.
like looked up and he was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm done, dude. I
Yeah,
just,
that one was a crazy day because like we took contact on behind a wall, and then
oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
The map. We had the map. It was like a hip high wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, Jack, he had the fucking
Yeah.
map on a clock wall. And the fucking rounds like blew the fucking map away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a day that I don't remember if you remember Ewan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot that AT4.
Did he?
Yeah, dude. What's his name? LeCount has the video somewhere, but he shot that AT4 that day, and
Fuck
he
yeah.
freaking just lit it up, dude. It was pretty
That's
cool
that's the
though.
same day. That was the same mission I shot the 60, the mortars.
Oh yeah, it was because you. So
Yeah.
this I was trying. I forget who it was. I don't remember if it was Romine or Ryan on one of my episodes. I was talking about one of the mortarmen got shot in the tube. He didn't catch the round, but the tube got shot.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's during. So we went from that little square, and then we jumped over the wall to walk back.
Yeah.
Of course, because you and Ryan wanted to walk back. And then we got into a firefight, and dude, we were running, dude. I forgot how far we were running. We were running probably about, I don't know, maybe like 200 meters, maybe more. It
Yeah.
sucked. It sucked. I was exhausted. nobody does cardio over there. All right, we're just exhausted. And but I dude, honestly, it's like it was really good that we had you, man. And it's just, I guess I'm not trying to kiss your ass. It just felt like the
Oh man.
identity, the identity was there.
Right? It
Yeah,
felt great, dude. Like getting in a firefight and walking back. I don't remember what mission this was, but walking back to the cop and dude, like hearing dudes in that tower as we're walking back as fucking as our platoon, and they're just like cheering, like they just heard our fucking firefight, and we're walking back, and getting so
yeah,
close to the ECP, they're just like, yeah, that was
yeah,
pretty
dude.
cool.
Yeah, freaking yeah. Ryan said we were like the main element, and I do remember like we were always doing something, man. It was
So
consistent.
Captain Burton, I remember now Lieutenant Colonel Burton, but he in the talk he was like, dude, we're really glad to have you, and I'm not like being big-headed or anything, just telling you what he said. He was like, dude, we're
Yeah,
really really glad to have you, really fortunate. I was like, cool, just being quiet. He's like, what are we doing wrong, what should we be doing? And that's when I told him, I was like, dude, you got to stop using the fucking strikers. He's like, you got to ditch them, we got to walk, because that's all we did in D-Mail. We were there for 6 months and I never got into a striker once.
yeah,
We had them on the ECPs, and they kind of flex here and there, to show
yeah.
muscle or whatever. But like we walked everywhere.
Well, what is he referring to as in like what? Why was he trying to get at like, hey, we need to dismount, or like you, like why did you reference why did we need to dismount?
So I think this is kind of like the point where, like, yeah, getting into fucking firefights was awesome and fun, but like, what are we achieving? I think that's kind of the point he was trying to make too. And I was starting to realize that in DMA one, like, yo, dude, yeah, every time I go out and get a firefight, that's great. But like, are we seizing territory? Or, are we getting intel? Like, what are we doing? We're just going out there, getting in the ticks, and then coming back and then doing it all over again. Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
And I don't think, I think as we started dismounting more and getting into more firefights, I think we were pushing the Taliban out more
hmm,
in Charlie Company. So I think that's kind of like where he was getting at with that, was like, how do we stay successful? And I was like, dude, we got to dismount, sir. We got to walk. We
yeah,
have a better chance.
yeah. I think it's important to get into. Like, what is the company leadership telling the platoon sergeant, the platoon leaders? Because obviously, at the like when you're at the Joe level or private level, whatever you want to call it nowadays, the soldier level, we're
Mhm.
getting like what we're gonna do on the mission. But what are they telling you from like the bigger echelon? Like, hey, this is what you're gonna do.
Dude, I was so nervous, man, being a platoon sergeant, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like over there in theater, like I don't remember a lot.
it's
Like,
probably just like a survival mode too. You know what I mean?
yeah, pertaining to like planning and things like that. Like, I think we all knew PK was going away as well.
Mm.
So
It's just they're
you know,
telling y'all like, hey, we need to push the Taliban out. Because I remember that little what was it that it was like a little checkpoint, and I think that place got lit up by the Taliban pretty good. It was right
yeah,
outside the cop, right? And
yeah,
there was a guy in there. He got shot in the head. It wasn't a soldier. It was an Afghan, and that's why I'm wondering like, is the company commander telling you like, hey, yeah, we want to be successful at keeping the Taliban out of here? And then you're like, hey, we got to dismount. You got to show face.
of course, man, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, shit, one of the missions we went on, remember Dirty Santa?
yeah, I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. So we're at his house, and
Yeah,
I'm definitely not going to talk about the things we did that day,
yeah,
but nothing.
nothing.
People that are watching, it's not like anything illegal or anything like that. But
Yeah,
um, we're looking for intel, basically, right? And I think we were looking for drugs at one point too. You know,
yeah,
we didn't find anything, and I remember looking up in a tree and I saw a plastic bag, and I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna climb this tree, right? And I'm like, dude, please don't blow up in my face, right?
yeah.
I climbed this
I remember
tree, and
you.
it,
I remember climbing a tree.
yeah, and it climbed the tree, and it is a plastic bag, and it had a fucking like a three mag AK like chest kit, like a chest rig. And then there was like Taliban like paraphernalia, not paraphernalia, like pamphlets, like leaflets. Um, I remember finding that, and turned it in. I don't know what they did with that. Probably gave it a S2, but you know, that was Dirty Santa's house, man.
Yeah, that was his hood. He was the well, did we ever get a confirmation that he was like our the leader of the area or anything?
I don't think so. No, I didn't.
No. So Dirty Santa is a nickname we gave this larger Afghan. He's fat, and he's got a very long white beard, and they're all dirty. They don't really take showers over there. So, um, how so? Well, I don't want to get too personal here or anything like that, but like, so we did lose a guy when you were our platoon sergeant, not us personally, not our platoon, but like, did you know how to react with the guys? Platoon sergeants,
So
for people that are listening, are the highest ranking NCO, right? So they're the leader, and we only have one officer, right? The officer doesn't really he isn't he's what is it, responsible, I guess, for the platoon, but you like run it, like you running it.
well, not exactly. So when we're like back in cantonment or back in the rear, like the platoon sergeant is traditionally in charge, right? So when it
Right.
comes to mission, anything like that, like the PL, the platoon leader, the lieutenant is in charge. So basically, we're out in sector, like he's in charge. Like
Mm-hmm.
he will run the squads.
Okay.
And the platoon sergeant obviously is like there for sustainment and things like that, and
Yeah.
medical. Um, but yeah, so that day our platoon was QRF,
Yeah.
the quick reaction force.
Yeah.
And it was Simmons's platoon. They went out, they got baited into an ambush, and then Kyle Stokely landed, or he was a heavy machine gunner. He laid on a anti-personnel mine, and then he was blown up. So we get there, and I think we're the third platoon, right?
Yeah. They're third platoon.
Yeah. So they were just destroyed, man. Like just
Yeah.
emotionally, physically, they were just drained. They were done. So we get there, and we're helping pull security now so they can come off, security. I think we get sectors of fires established, things like that. And I remember talking to Simmons and his guys, and I was like, dude, let's go. We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We got a fucking we got a body. He's in a body bag, and they're like, dude, we can't leave. And I'm like, what? Like, we can't leave. We don't have all of him.
Right. I remember.
Yeah, they're like, I'm like, what are you missing? And they're like, an arm. And I was like, oh fuck, And like
Yeah.
no one looked up. I mean, a bomb goes up. So I looked in the tree, and then his arm's hanging there. It's like his sinew and muscle and tissue and stuff like that was like wrapped around a branch. So again, I got to climb a fucking another tree in Afghanistan. But it was pretty high up there, if I remember correctly. So I had to take my kit off. Um, and I remember climbing up there, and I was like, fuck, like I couldn't grab it. It was too far out on the limb.
Uh-huh.
Um, and all his dudes were down there on the, next to the body
Yeah.
bag, and I was like, dude, sorry, and I had to like shake it out of the fucking tree, and I remember when it hit, like, and made a
Dude.
thud, and they were just even more destroyed, and I was like, dude, like, I'm not trying to get shot, like that's always been my mentality, I guess, like, dude, like, yes, that sucks. There's time for that later, but like, other people will die, and like when
Yeah.
we're exfilling, right? The two things happened on that exfil, but they wanted to carry his body
I
on the
remember.
stretcher,
Yeah.
and they were done, man. Like they were just physically just done. Like they were tripping all over themselves, going through the mud. Um, and I was like, dude, like go grab the
Yeah.
stretcher, like for our guys, because we're fresh. I'm like, dude, fucking swap them out now, because like
Yeah.
that's dangerous, dude. Like
Yeah.
we could get shot, or they could get shot too. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
we got to wrap that up and fucking bounce. But on the way out of there too, man, Simmons stepped on a fucking pressure plate.
Yeah. I was right behind him.
Yeah, I was right next to him, dude. He's like, get the fuck away from me, and I'm like, what? He's like, you
Yeah.
didn't hear that? And I was like, no, your shit, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, luckily it wasn't hooked up to anything, but no shit, man. Fucking pressure plate, dude. It's two saw blades, I think.
Yeah. So when you get back to the cop, like obviously the whole, like, what do you guys, I'm trying to figure out, like, what do they tell y'all? Like, hey, we got to do blackout, go talk to your guys. Like, hey, is that what they're
Yeah,
telling
the
y'all?
typical stuff, nobody gets
Yeah.
on fucking social media, until the family's been notified. So I think the computers and the phones and all that stuff went black until the family was actually notified. But you know, um, you could tell a lot of people hadn't dealt with it, and
Yeah. How did
It's tough for some people.
how did you deal with it, like being the platoon sergeant and you're still, you're probably like what, maybe like 2 months with us, right? 2, three
Not
months.
even, dude. Like I got there in May, and this was what, June that it happened, like the
Yeah,
first week
yeah,
of June.
yeah,
So a couple weeks, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Your
mean,
hey, your introvert self, I couldn't tell like it affected you at all, man. I'm telling you, like,
I couldn't let it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because like what, everybody's different.
yeah,
Some people might like cling on to the, if I show emotion, not to sound like a robot or anything, but like, if something like that affected me so much, it could rub off on somebody else and it could affect the mission. That's
yeah. And I tell that to probably all of our guests when they talk about losing somebody. It's like we don't ever have time to cope with it or deal with it. We still got, like you said, the mission, and it's equally as important to make sure everybody else gets back safe as well.
for sure. Yeah. I
And
always
I
said that
think,
was the best part of the fucking firefight was coming back, like through
yeah,
the ECP. That was the best. It wasn't like
yeah,
getting in the firefight, dude. It was like
yeah,
just dumping everything right there at the ECP when you walk in. Like
yeah,
everyone's safe. Like that was the best part.
yeah. Getting some shitty food, it's always it's always a good one, man. And yeah, I think so. A lot of we were on QRF that day when Recon 5 got hit, and so
Mhm.
my best friend Kevin Cardoza, he was one of the guys that got blown up, and
Yep.
I think that's where I learned how to kind of like zone it out. I don't I hate to I
Yeah.
hate, I hate to call it say it like that, but like you said, the mission still needs to go on, and you can't have like 5 or 6 distraught people, and
Yeah.
like you said, that platoon was already defeated. It's like, okay, our job as QRF is to make sure these dudes, let's go, like we got to get the hell out of here, and
Mhm.
I remember carrying the stretcher, and I think it was Jack. I forgot what the hell that thing's called, the walk kit or whatever.
Yeah.
I was carrying the bag, and I told Jack I didn't even know what to do, man. Like I'm 20 now at this point, and I'm just like, I didn't even check on the guys because I didn't know what to do. I was kind of just like struck, in
Yeah.
shock, and I feel like shit, for a long time about it because I'm like, man, I didn't even check on anybody, dude. Like it's hard though, when you're going through such a stressful situation,
That's
and
not your job though. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a good way to put it.
Just for you to think about, just for you to think about it just like that though, it speaks volumes of your character, man.
You know, I mean, hey,
True medic. True medic. That's
yeah,
awesome. But can we give a little praise to old Jack Ryan though? I
yeah.
was super lucky to come into that platoon and him be the fucking PL.
Yeah, Jack Ryan. I know you're watching this. Shout out Jack Ryan.
Dude, what an
Yeah,
amazing human, dude.
dude. He doesn't believe me that everybody loves him.
Dude,
Dude, I am
dude,
like, and I'm telling him like, bro, and he's like, it's such an honor coming from him, and I'm like, dude, everybody loves you, bro. Everybody. There's
dude,
not one
what?
person have anything bad say about him.
Hell no. What a
Yeah,
war fighter, dude.
yeah.
What an
He was,
honor to
dude.
serve with him.
Yeah, I mean, me and him equally went on as many missions together, but he was like you in a sense. Like he never showed anything. He always was about the mission, and
He was so even keeled, man. Just it's such
yeah,
a huge help. Yeah.
yeah. Like, because people don't know the platoon sergeant is supposed to like groom the platoon leader.
I didn't have to.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you have that mindset when you got to us though? Like, you're like, man, I'm
No,
gonna
man. I was like, dude,
do
I gotta survive, dude. Like, I
it.
didn't know anything about cop PK. I didn't know what you guys did down there in the South, compared to what we did up north. I mean,
Uh huh.
I wasn't like read into anything. It was just like literally, we left DMA1 to go to Hatal, and I was like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm just an E6P. I'll just keep being a squad leader. Dude, that next day I was
Yeah.
at PK. I was like, fuck, man. Dude, hopefully I'm good at this platoon sergeant shit, but
Yeah. And so we get done with our deployment, that we restructure PK, and they allegedly they started firing at it. I don't know if that's true or not, and they were taking it over. I don't know if that was
yeah,
true.
I
We're
heard
talking
about
about the
that too.
Taliban, yeah.
Yeah.
And we get back to Fort Bliss. What is your mindset? Because you still got to be the platoon sergeant for like what, 1 or 2 years?
Yep, yep. I was when did we get back? 13.
13.
like September, October, and then it was kind of like block leave, and then 14. I think sometime in like 2015, I ended up being the platoon sergeant for the recon platoon.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
remember that. Yeah.
um,
Did they select you for that, or you kind of like volunteered?
no, the sergeant major, the what's his name, Sergeant Major Hooten
Hmm.
and Colonel Villanueva. Yeah, they
Yeah.
picked a PL and a platoon sergeant. Everybody else in the platoon has to do tryouts to be there,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
PL and platoon sergeant get they get picked.
Yeah. How did you like it?
I liked it. I thought, it was pretty cool, man. It was, I didn't, like I said, I never went to Ranger school or anything sexy like that. So, to be like, there are other dudes, that are E7s with Ranger tabs, but we want you to be the fucking the recon platoon sergeant. I was really honored.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think I made it quite a year. Um, Dude, like I was crazy, man. Like towards the end, man, I was like starting to have panic attacks out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, the platoon sergeant or the sergeant major was like, "Oop, we
Were
can't have
you
you."
were you like irritable and stuff like that, or you're just kind of like
Anxiety, man.
anxiety? Yeah.
I like fight or flight would kick in.
Yeah.
And dude, yeah, dude, I'd just be panicking. My fucking heart would just be fucking going like 200 beats a minute. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck. I thought I was dying, dude. It was
Yeah.
fucking weird. It's kind of
Did you
embarrassing, but
did you get seen for it or anything like that?
so I like try to check myself into. I don't know if you remember 11 West
Yeah.
over at the hospital.
Yeah.
I tried, like, I literally got in the elevator, went up there, and it's like I wasn't supposed to be there, and I was like, fuck, I gotta, oops.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotta go to the ER, right?
Yeah, basically, and then like I had to go to the UR, and like the new fucking recon team starter had to come fucking sign for me or some shit, and I was like, oh my God, dude, like I'm not trying to hurt anybody or myself or anything crazy like that. I just
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck's going on, man. Like it was weird, dude.
Just different.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of embarrassing though, dude. Honestly,
I I kind of had the similar thing happen to me when the whole Garza thing. I don't remember if you remember. I called you.
did you?
I called you that day because I didn't know what to do, and then you were like, "Oh, you got to call CID on post and get with the provost marshal and all that other shit." Yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah, you answered, dude, because I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do, and I tried to do the same thing. It was weird though. It was a different type of panic, I guess you could say. And yeah, I just went to the ER though, and dude, it was like a shit show. Like
Yeah, it was
the
horrible, man.
fucking
Hopefully things are better now in the army, but yeah,
yeah, the MPs came, and I'm with my ex wife at the time, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt nobody.
yeah,
I just need to talk to somebody, and
yeah,
I'm like, dude, the line to get into behavioral health is like 3 years. I'm like, come on, and it's that's what I talked to John Paris on my last podcast, the one before this. People
yeah,
support veterans, but at the same time, it's like verbalized support because we have to wait freaking forever just to get an appointment for anything.
yeah,
And it's frustrating. But I think it's good that I appreciate you opening up about it because like it made me want to open up too. Like I don't
for sure,
consider
man.
and we all go through something, dude, and it's we all need that support system. whether it
Yeah,
be whether it be your wife or I mean if people like a therapist. I'm not really sure if people like therapy. uh
yeah,
yeah, and so everybody I talk to on this forum is always like, oh, it's kind of like therapy, and I'm like, I'm not giving you advice, I'm just letting you vent, dude, really.
for sure, dude.
And people like it a lot, and I hope it continues that way because I just want people to, you're not alone, man. We're still, even though we don't talk all the time, I'm still your bro.
Dude, always, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of bros, you know who I saw yesterday?
Who?
Fucking Duarte.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is he over there right now?
He was up, yeah, for a rotation. He's about to, I
Yeah,
think he leaves in a couple of days, but
yeah. I was just messaging him like maybe last week. That was y'all's
yeah,
medic and D-man one.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think he got kicked out of there because he got stuck with the needle. Sorry, Duarte,
It,
if I put
it,
your business out there.
I remember we were this dude had like brought his daughter to work day, and
Yeah,
I think he was setting IDs, and he ended up getting both of his fucking legs blown off and like one of his nuts. And
yeah.
then the poor girl, she got peppered, like her whole body was just peppered in shrapnel. So they brought them in, and I remember Doc, dude, Duarte. I love that guy, dude, but he was kind of like like a deer in fucking headlights.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there, tourniqueting this dude up, fucking looking at his nuts, like, damn, that sucks. And then, the girl was just peppered, which sucks is because at the end of it, dude, she's the one that passed away and he didn't.
Right.
That kind of sucks. But yeah, I always remember Duarte just kind of like, what the fuck?
Poor Dorothy. Poor guy.
He
Um.
was good though. He was good.
So after recon, how long after did you get orders to uh where am I drawing like NTC or what is it, Fort Irwin, right?
So after that whole debacle,
Did you
I
put in a
went
packet
to no, so they asked me to be the ops sergeant major in 136. Until the new one came
and
because
your E7,
I
right?
kind of
So
yeah, I kind of played it off like it was just a heart thing, but yeah, like I was like panicking and all this weird shit out of nowhere. And then and then while we were there, the sergeant major was like, I need a strong three, like an S3, right? And I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking do staff time. Like that's whack as fuck. You know, n- no infantryman, like wants to ever do that, even though it's pretty good for your career, I think, inevitably, But so I heard through the grapevine that they were having interviews for the brigade PSD position to be
yeah,
the PSD platoon sergeant. And I was like, fuck, dude. So sucked up my deuces and I went over and interviewed, and the sergeant major was like, yep, you're the new PSD platoon sergeant. We're going to Afghanistan in 2017. We're going to RC East. So I was like, yeah, sweet.
yeah.
So that was my
How
last deployment in 17.
how was that deployment?
Dude, so there's a lieutenant general right now. He was a one star back then, but I was his PSO, so his personal
Yeah,
security officer. So dude, I flew everywhere with this dude. It was his legal aide, his aide, and me. And
yeah,
we fucking yeah, so a lawyer, a fucking lieutenant, a fucking aide, and then old fucking sergeant first class Lawson fucking
yeah,
wearing pedal tours and no helmet because I thought I was cool as fuck, man. Traveling with this general, right? And I'm like his security guy. And we ended up picking up General Nicholson. So he was like I think he was the NATO like fucking or no, I think he's the CENTCOM commander or some shit like that back in Afghanistan. And he shows up, we go pick him up and they land, we pick him up, and he's got his PSO as well. And his PSO happens to be, I think he's a master sergeant waiting to pick up a fucking company in a ranger bat. So they swap out like every 4 months. So since there's three bats. And yeah, he's got an actual ranger as his fucking PSO.
yeah.
And then I think it was maybe JSOC or USASOC. His PSO was a fucking like Delta guy. And I'm just like, let me put my fucking lame ass helmet back on, dude.
And were you still rocking
Fucking,
the cries though?
I was, dude.
Dude, those cries are sweet, man. Like I was like, you're the first one to rock that style of
Yeah.
cries, and I was like, oh, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing, dude. Like
That's
it
the
was
first rule, man, is fucking you look cool,
uh
you will be
so
cool, I
what was
guess.
the interview like for that position?
Not just easy shit. I don't honestly don't remember all the questions, dude. I was
PT
like, dude, I
score.
just yeah, I was like, I just don't want to be staff, don't want to be staff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I mean, that's a the
It was
interesting job.
outside of, my job set, I guess, as an infantryman, just
Yeah,
kind of flying everywhere. Dude, we probably flew 100 times on that fucking deployment.
yeah, and it was really like you were like on the were you on CAF or what?
No, we were at Gamberry. So it was kind of close to Fob Fenty. So kind of like by J-Bad, but
Oh, okay, cool, cool.
small little place by
Yeah.
itself.
How do you feel at this point in your career? Like, hey, I don't want to do staff, but I kind of do you want to get promoted? You want to be a first sergeant, or
I mean, this was what, 2017, so I still had
you had like what 6 years?
I was still like 12 or 13 years in the army.
Oh man, you still got a long time, dude.
So I was over the hump, but I was like, dude, like, yeah, like I'm gonna try to go as far as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like, what do I need to do? Now it's time to like start thinking about my career instead of, it's not about deployments, things like that, all the fun stuff. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to go be a drill sergeant. I never wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Um, recruiting, I actually got out of recruiting. First, you remember first on Pratt?
yeah.
So when we
Carl.
got back, Carl. So when we got back from Afghanistan, you and I in 2013, I came down on recruiting orders. Um, And brought me in his office and we called fucking Branch and he's like, dude, this guy's staff aren't promotable. He just took a platoon. What can we do? And the guy was like, dude, I'll call you back tomorrow and see what I can do. These are like DA selected orders. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Calls back and he's like, yep, I got those orders canceled, man. Like, I'm not gonna mess with career progression. And I was like, fucking thank God, dude. Well, I got out of being a recruiter. I didn't want to be a drill, and I was like, all right, I guess the next best thing, probably Ranger School, which again I still never went to, but is to be an OC. So
Yeah.
I
What is it?
picked NTC, out here, Fort Irwin, California, because it was kind of in between both of our families, hers in El Paso and mine up in Washington. So I was like,
Yeah. What does a OC stand for?
observer controller.
Observer controller. And you did that for the rest of your career, right?
I know I did it for 3 or 4 years,
Uh-huh.
and then I took an assignment to go to Jordan for a year. And that's where dude, I was in Jordan for 45 days and I had to get medevac to Walter Reed to get a heart procedure done.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you actually had a medical condition going on with you.
I did, man, but they fixed it, so I'm good now.
Well, you got like a heart valve or something? I don't want to
It
get too
was, yeah,
personal.
no, I don't care. It was AFib.
No,
So
okay.
because of AFib, if people don't know, blood clots form in your heart, and
Yeah.
then the way the valve kind of like pulls the blood behind, some of the valves,
Hmm.
eventually they end up getting pushed out, and then you're at a higher chance for a stroke. So while I was over there, I don't know if people understand how, heartbeats work and, heart rates. I
Yeah.
mean,
Lub dub.
but my resting heart rate was 155 beats per minute.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was my resting, in my room in Jordan. So the brigade surgeon put me on blood thinners.
Yeah.
And she's like, if this happens again, you got to go home. And I was like, all right, we kind of got it quelled. And then it happened again, dude. And she was like, and I'd spent a night out in town
Uh-huh.
in Amman, Jordan at the local hospital.
Yeah.
And it happened the second time, and she was like, "Dude, pack your bags. Like, you're going to Germany." So I spent a month in
Yeah.
Germany, and then it was still there. He's like, "Dude, we got to send you to Walter Reed. Like, we can't do the procedure here."
Right.
So they had to go through my femoral and then do a catheter ablation in my heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, they fixed that. But
Yeah.
again, like my plan, because my daughter was still in high school at the time, so my plan was to go to Jordan for a year, and I was on orders to come back here to Fort Irwin. I was just going to be a first sergeant here at 11th ACR, the op four guys. I was like, I don't care. Like, I did everything for me. Now, it's my family. I didn't want to move a bunch of times, so it's like I'll
Did
just come back here and be a first sergeant. But
yeah. Did you feel this way because like, hey, like this medical condition happened, or were you still looking at like, hey, I'll be a sergeant major, or you know what
at
I'm
that
saying?
time, I was still like, dude, I want to see how far I can go.
Right.
Because even as an OC, dude, I was in my 40s and I still had a sergeant major. This was like right towards the end of COVID. He's like, why don't you go to Ranger school? Like people were still telling me to go to Ranger school in my fucking 40s.
Yeah.
You know what I
You're
mean?
you're pretty stud, man.
I was, dude. And then I wasn't.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
And now that you tell me the story, it it shows like what a true warrior goes through, right? Like it's like I hate to say it this way, but Father Time is undefeated.
Dude, always will
Do you know what I'm
be.
saying? So like
Yeah.
you're this guy, and everybody's like, yeah, you're gonna go to Ranger school, and then one day just your health is just like slaps you in the face, because you're getting. I'm not saying you're old.
Dude,
I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying
I am old. I'm old.
you're getting older, and it just happens, and it's like it's a tip. It's like when you see a warrior start to. I'm not saying you're slow, but like kind of like, hey, I'm coming down to my reality.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I'm,
that's
I'm
what that.
actually kind of glad I joined later, honestly, dude. If I would have
Yeah,
joined at 18, I think I would have got kicked out.
yeah, probably you're pretty rebellious, dude. Especially going to
I mean, I'm just
Campbell and
saying.
then El Paso, you probably definitely got kicked
Yeah,
out.
dude. Dude, when I got to El Paso in 2007, dude, the drinking age on base was still 18.
Damn.
Weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in middle school. Um, so like since I actually just said that, since we're getting to the end of this podcast, the show, what would you tell like the warrior or the fighter about them slowing down or the reality sinks in?
And it's okay, man. It's natural, Like you got to listen to your body. You know,
Yeah.
you can't fight it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, do I wish, I was still going to the gym, lifting all those weights and being all buff like I was back in the day? Yeah, but like, it's not super important. It's important to stay healthy, but like all that stuff, eh, I don't know.
Nuts. I mean, it's good advice, dude. Listen to your body because some people try to push it too hard, and like me, I
Yeah.
tore my hamstring last year because I thought I'm
Yeah.
in my 30s. I was like, oh, I can still sprint, and I freaking took off and popped it, dude. I feel like a gunshot
Oh,
hit me, dude.
oh
So
my God. Yeah,
yeah,
I had
but
shoulder surgery last March. I torn my, again, this is probably from being stupid on deployments and lifting all that crazy weight, but like I had a torn labrum and a torn rotator cuff the whole time.
dang. And you just
Yeah.
push it. I mean, that's the infantryman mindset too. You don't want to go to sick call, right? You're like, I just need
But,
to.
well, actually, because of the AFib, that's when I like really stopped working out. And
Uh,
that's when all this stuff started surfacing, like
yeah,
I had like my back started hurting out of nowhere while I was
yeah.
at Walter Reed, and I was like, dude, I need to get an MRI or an X-ray or whatever. And it turns out, I got fractures in my spine. Like I'm
Damn,
all
dude,
jacked up, dude. Yeah, I wasn't even airborne, dude.
dude.
I'd probably be,
I'm trying to figure out how you got hurt, man.
I don't know, man.
Dude. I mean, it's a rough life.
Yeah,
The very and you know what? I'm happy at the same time. You realize like, hey, the slowing down is cool because like your family, right? Like your
well,
wife
for
and
sure.
kids, and I tell people that are still in, I'm like, dude, it's one about like PTSD and depression, anxiety. I'm like, dude, it's not worth being bitter to your family. Number one, and number two, it's equally or if not more important to be there for your family.
100%, dude. Yep.
And that's why I got out ultimately in 2020 was because I was already at that point in my career. I was a NCOIC for a clinic or the aviation. It was like the little clinic, and they were gonna send me to go be the hospital in ER NCOIC in Fort Jackson.
Yeah.
So my era is done, dude. There's no more freaking going out with the infantry
Yeah.
unless I go to selection, and or ranger school. But I was like, I'm 27, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to go to Fort Jackson. I asked them, hey, can I go to Fort Hood? Because my kid lives in Texas, and they're like, nah. And I was like, that's it. That's it. Father
Later.
time. Hey, I was like, yep. I was like, we're out. I'm like, we're out. So, and I know we talked about it. Like, I don't miss the army. I love being out, but I miss like you guys, man. Like,
I
I
miss the
miss,
boys, dude. Yeah.
yeah. And that's why everybody's happy I'm doing this because it feels like I'm getting the band back together.
It does, dude. Yeah, man.
And I'm really happy that we had this conversation because, like I said, I talked to Munir. I was like, dude, he's a mystery man. I've never really. And then I showed my wife a picture of you. She's like, oh, my wife's Filipino, and
Yeah.
I'm half Filipino, and she's like, oh, he's mixed with something. I'm like, I think he's Korean.
Yeah, I heard you and Jack on his podcast talk about that. And I was like, dude, what? I'm half Japanese, dude.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
dude, honestly, I think it's gonna make a lot of people happy that you opened up and they're like, this is Jay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Got
dude.
out, eat
Yeah,
some
dude.
eat some gummies every now and again, just chill and
That's funny,
I'm a
dude.
hippie, man. I'm a hippie now, I guess.
Yeah, you don't listen to rock music anymore?
Oh, I listen to everything, dude.
Hey, do you still got the Tacoma?
Oh, I got a Tundra, man.
Oh, damn, big baller now, huh? Big baller.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, I had the Tacoma and then I got a Chevy after that. The thing had like a big like 7-inch lift on it and all kinds of crazy stuff, but
Yeah, you remember my big old truck I had?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. I have a Ram now. I have a Cummins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's in Texas. I had a Tacoma when I got here,
Oh
and
yeah.
I had the smallest truck everywhere. I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I get a bigger truck. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, dude, honestly, this was a great conversation. It was awesome getting to know you. Like I know you, but I didn't know you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's we shared some laughs and some good stories, and it felt like
Dude,
I did
I
it.
always tell people stories about our fucking first firefight together, dude.
Oh yeah,
Always.
dude, I tell everybody about you too. Like even when I was an NCO, I was like, man, Sergeant Lawson was like the guy. Like he was like a true quiet professional, even though that was your personality.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but you were hard on me when you needed to be, and then you weren't. You know, like you were still. But I needed that. I totally needed that because like my medical NCOIC at the time, like when he left El Paso, he straight up told me he's like, I didn't do shit for you. And dude,
Dang.
honestly, a lot of people don't know. I almost got kicked out when we got back because I failed BT tests. I was feeling high and weight. I was honestly missing the rush. I was missing like I was going through the typical guy phase, like there's no purpose, and so a lot of people don't know that. Like I almost got kicked out of the army twice actually
Damn.
for that stuff. Yeah, second time was when Garza died, and
Yeah.
and when I first got to Alaska, they flagged me as soon as I got there. But I was a mess, dude, and resiliency is definitely key. Like it's not all like what we went through. I always remember the good times more than the bad, and
Hell yeah.
that's what helps bring me back to reality sometimes,
I mean, what 19-year-old gets to do that, dude?
Yeah,
You know what
dude.
I mean?
Yeah, dude. The big thing too is like when I was having my medics at the time when I was this a section NCOSC, I had an E5, and he's like, man, I wish that was he was in like 1 year less than me. He was E5, and he was like, I wish I could have done that,
I know.
dude. And I'm like, a lot. Even my platoon sergeant or the section NCOSC that was in charge of me before, when I got there, he was like in a BSB.
Ooh.
And then I'm like trying to tell him like what it's like, that stuff, and people don't believe me, man. And it's freaking badass, dude. I'm so happy I was with you guys, man. It was
Yeah,
good.
I'm glad you were my fucking medic and Jack was the PO. Like it was perfect, dude, honestly.
Yeah,
At the end of it, when I like look back and reflect, like, dude, it was pretty gangster, man, to be in
yeah,
that fucking platoon,
yeah.
honestly.
That moment right there. Those moments, like that was the best job.
Yeah, yeah.
100%, dude. Besides being a dad and stuff, but like that in my army career was the best.
Like doing your job.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
fucking. Nobody will ever take it away, too, man. And I'm glad you speak good about me because I was kind of nervous. I'm not
What?
gonna lie to you, dude. I'll tell you because like, dude, you're like a silent assassin, man. People are nervous to talk to you, and
A
I'm
fucking
like,
ninja.
yeah. Even when you're talking to me, you're like, I'm real quiet, man. I'm like, nah, I got this. I was like, I got this. You talked a lot, dude.
I know, I actually kind of did.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So, but yeah, man. Do you have any questions for me? Like
Oh
anything
man,
like
keep
that?
doing this, man. Keep doing this.
Yeah. If you have any friends, send them my way,
Sure.
please. I don't know if there's any Marines over there or anything like that. I'll take them too.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all I got, brother. And I really appreciate this conversation. And
Thank you. Thank you for having me, dude.
and I'll talk to you later, brother.
Sabino, Doc. Love you, dude.
Love you too, brother.
All right. See ya, man.
Later. All right, guys. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you later.